I was finally saying, wow, I can do this for a living. I don't need to have some other vocation and do this on the side. And that, growing up in this industry, I know what a very special gift that is, because there's a lot of people that would love to be working actors and unfortunately aren't. And people, for whatever reason, may just disconnect with the movie, and you're powerless to that. You really are. All you can do is really show up on set and, work as hard as you possibly can. Really, because I said to myself, I'm not dependent on this job. This isn't going to define me, and I started to sell myself less.
Leonardo DiCaprio. Some people want to be like him, some people want to achieve what he's achieved. Check out his 10 rules of greatness.
Being an actor is the first thing that I remember wanting to do in life. I remember at 14, 15 years old, watching some classic films, spending months and months watching all the great classics, all the great performers of the past, and being so incredibly inspired by them and saying to myself, one day I want to come close to doing something that good. So I think that thirst or that drive to just achieve what I believe is something as good as, those heroes that I have is what continues to make me want to do this. I mean, I'd done a lot of television and commercials before then, but it was really this one role that launched my career, and that was this boy's life. That was the truth of the matter. I was at the right place at the right time and aggressively going out on auditions. Everything sort of made sense for me. We were making a film about pretty deplorable characters, pretty unlikable people, with Wall Street in the title, wondering if audiences would at all connect with these characters or this world or go along the journey with them. And he said to me, look, Leo, I've done many films in my life, and I have to say, as long as you're honest and authentic about your portrayal of who these people are, no matter how despicable at times, no matter what part of the darker nature of humanity you're exploring, audiences will always connect with that and go along with that journey with you. What gives me strength all the time is to be able to have formulated a group of people around me that are my friends and my family. Mm-hmm. Those two words are enmeshed in my opinion, but it's given me a grounding that, as insane as my life can be sometimes, is always refreshing, and they're always so honest with me, and I'm so thankful for that. And that, in a combination with the fact that you have that one lucky moment, and that you can't discount. I mean, I don't care what anyone says, whether somebody has talent or not, whether they were destined for a certain career, if you don't get that one opportunity and you're not there at the right time to seize it and you didn't go for it, none of it would happen. I would not have the career I would have right now whatsoever, I don't think. I mean, it's all about a showcase or that ability to do that one thing that says, okay, now we'll allow you to do more movies. That's it. Let's go for it. Let's just keep being aggressive and do it. I took a different attitude towards the audition process, and I started to get jobs after that. And I think it was really because I said to myself, I'm not dependent on this job. This isn't going to define me. And I started to sell myself less, prepare more for the roles. Really investigate the characters as much as I could, and not feel like my self-worth was dependent on whether I booked the job or not. I'm very proud that a movie like this got made. It's very, very, very rare to see films that are this ambitious coming out of the Hollywood studio system. So I'm sort of on a tirade trying to promote this film because I just want to see more films like this out there as a fan of movies. But as far as awards are concerned, the truth is there's a lot of peace of mind in it because you really realize that you ultimately have no control of these things.
Is it something you hope for or set off to the side?
Like I said, honestly, I do these movies because I really love movies and I want to make great movies. All that stuff is totally beyond your control. It really is. Look, I came from humble beginnings. I went to public school, but I always had a loving parents. Both of my parents were unbelievable, so I was incredibly fortunate in that regard. But my father is one of the wisest men I've ever met, and he has steered the course of my life in so many different directions in a positive way, whether it be my environmental activism, who I believe I am as a person, and as an actor is completely influenced by him. I never went to a formal acting. It was only until really The Aviator that I started working with Larry Moss, who it was the first film that I had produced, that I had thought of. It was sort of my concept, and I felt like I needed to brush up on my technique. So that's when I really started doing formal training, and it was an amazing experience with him. I mean, it was more than learning how to be a better actor. He was a life coach. It was like, he's like, the first day he was like, all right, you wanna go over this stuff? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And he's like, okay, you're Howard Hughes, you're in your plane, this is your cocoon, this is your sanctuary. Show me how you fly a plane. I'm like, well, I haven't really. He's like, come on, don't, basically sit in that chair and do it for me right now. I think everyone can always, brush up on their technique. It is, what we do is it takes a lot of research. If you really want to inhabit a role, it takes a lot of work and training, and I think it's incredibly important to constantly, no matter how successful you are, it's incredibly important.
You see, she loves me.
Look, I strive to be the best actor I can be, and whether I've achieved that is always, up to the audience and critics to decide. I don't have any power over that, and that's the one thing about making movies that's always frightening and exhilarating, is that you can go into it with the best possible intent, work as hard as you possibly can, and people, for whatever reason, may just disconnect with the movie, and you're powerless to that. You really are. All you can do is really show up on set and, work as hard as you possibly can, and that I can say that I do. I would have been very, very happy continuing doing television work. I would have loved it. I would have been doing commercials and sitcoms. It would have been fine. I mean, doing some theater. I was ecstatic to be an actor, period. I was finally saying, wow, I can do this for a living. I don't need to have some other vocation and do this on the side. And that, growing up in this industry, I know what a very special gift that is, because there's a lot of people that would love to be working actors and unfortunately aren't. And that's the bottom line for me, what I'm most happy with. This is all the cherry, this is the whipped cream and the walnuts and the cherry on the cake. Being able to choose your roles, all this stuff is like, beyond. It really is.
Hopefully you learned something from Leo and his rules of greatness, and how maybe you can implement some of these things to make you more successful in your life. Sometimes it just takes one rule, one behavior to shift that put you on a path to more success. Hopefully it helps. Here's to your success. Take care.